Hello every pony, Scorer89 here with another small fan fiction reading. Today's story is... Where did it go? No. Okay, sorry. Finally loaded. Sentence Enhancers by Gunsmith. It is a ripoff, apparently, of that episode of Spongebob. I don't know. Let's just read it. It's not very long, so sit back. Rainbow Dash was ready to get home after another long day of working as the head weather pony of Ponyville. She was just about to fly home when her boss, the coordinator of the weather team, stopped her. Hey, Rainbow Dash! Rainbow turned around in the air, stifling a groan. Yes, Mr. Cloudy Skies, sir? Take this trash to the dumpster, will ya? Her boss said, indicating a bag of garbage next to him. Trash? Thought Dash. Since when do we have trash working with the weather? And what's a dumpster? However, she knew arguing would be pointless, so she picked up the bag up in her teeth. It smelled awful, like rotten food. She trotted outside, holding the trash bag, and decided to go around to the side of the building. There sat a large metal bin filled with more bags of trash. When did this get here? She tossed a bag of garbage over one side, and it landed noisily inside the dumpster. She noticed some things were written on the front wall of the rusting bin. Dumpster writing? She began to read one of them out loud. Twilight Sparkle smells. She paused, looking at the unfinished sentence. Bringing up a hoof, she finished it for the original writer. A kind act indeed. Good. Ooh, dumpster writing, a voice cried from beside Rainbow Dash. She turned and... Oh, that's Pinkie Pie. Ooh, dumpster writing, a voice cried from beside Rainbow Dash. She turned in surprise to see Pinkie Pie standing there, reading the dumpster with her. Oh, hey, Pinkie. Hi, Dashy. Let's read another. Okay, Dash replied enthusiastically. Look at this one, pointing a hoof to the writing. She began reading it out loud. Applejack is a nerd. She paused, looking at the word again. Applejack is a nerd. What's a nerd? Pinkie asked. Oh, no, sorry. Let me start that one over. She paused, looking at the word again. Applejack is a nerd. What's a nerd? Pinkie. The pink pony brought a hoof to her mouth in deep thought. It's a sentence enhancer! Ponies use it when they want to talk fancy! Awesome! I can't wait to talk fancy! The next day. Rainbow Dash barged through the doors of Sugar Cube Corner, spotting Pinkie Pie tending to customers through the shop. She waved to her friend. Hi, Pinkie! How's the news? Are ya? Hey, come on! Hey, come on! There's fools in here! An angry customer complained next to Rainbow Dash. Pretty in good, Dashy. Rainbow Dash stood on the table, making another customer upset. I hope all you ponies have a good day, she yelled, audibly to the entire eatery. Yeah, this day is so great. What do you think, Pinks? Yeah. Pinkie responded cheerfully. Customers began filing out, disgusted and appalled. Just as the last one left, Applejack entered the bakery. Howdy, Rainbow, Pinkie. How are you all today? Great, the two replied in chorus. Applejack's eyes went wide upon hearing what they said. What'd y'all say? Don't y'all know what y'all saying? Yeah, Pinkie Pie responded first. We're talking fancy. Oh, no, ya ain't. That there's swear number 11. It's a bad word. Bad word? Rainbow and Pinkie questioned in unison, looking at each other. They began wiping their tongues rapidly with their hooves, desperately trying to rid the foul word from their mouth. After they deemed their tongues worthy again, Dash continued on. How many are there? 13 in all, and I better not catch you two using any of them ever again, Applejack said sternly. We Pinky promised never to use the word again, said Pinky, speaking for them both. After a moment, she and Rainbow began chanting together and going through the motions. Cross my heart, hope to fly, stick a cupcake in my eye. Good, y'all run along now. Pinky and Rainbow Dash left Sugar Cube, feeling terrible about what they had done. They got outside of Ponyville before Pinky realized she worked at Sugar Cube Corner and didn't actually have to leave. Later. Hey, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow said, entering Cupcake Corner. Cupcake Corner? I thought it was Sugar Cube. I don't know. It's Sugar Cube Corner. I don't know why it says Cupcake. It says entering Cupcake Corner again. It's Sugar Cube Corner. Never mind. The store was empty except for the pink pony, who turned upon seeing her friend. Dashi, are you ready to play some Canyons and Clouds? She asked, wiping out a board game bearing the same name. That was their favorite game. Awesome! They set up the game before the game board on one of the tables in the empty bakery and took seats opposite each other. They began rolling the dice, seeing if they would ascend to the skies with clouds or fall to the ground with canyons. It was Rainbow Dash's turn to roll. Come on, clouds, clouds, clouds! She blew on the dice before rolling them for good luck. Then tossed them onto the game board. Canyons! That's the 5th time in a row! Your turn. She reluctantly handed the dice to Pinky, who was already close to winning. Clouds, clouds, clouds! Pinky cried excitedly, nearly throwing the dice. Clouds! She moved her game piece to the top of the board, to the winner's square. Woohoo! I win! Ah, no! Rainbow exclaimed in anger. She realized her slip-up a moment too late and stuck a hoof in her mouth. Pinkie Pie gasped for an impossibly long period of time. Her face darkened. I'm telling! No, Pinky, please! It was an accident! No, I'm telling Applejack! Pinky darted out of her seat, racing for the door. Dash followed her close behind, running after her in panic as Pinkie Pie made for Sweet Apple Acres. She caught up to her quickly, being the fastest pony in Equestria. Pinky, don't tell Applejack! No! No, I'm telling her! Pinky realized her mistake quickly, putting a hoof in her mouth and running three-legged. It was Rainbow Dash's turn to gasp. Now I'm going to tell on you! Not if I get there first! Pinky shouted, but Rainbow was already pulling away from her. As Sweet Apple Acres came into view, Dash was sure she'd get there first. All of a sudden, Pinkie Pie zoomed past her, hitching a ride on an ice cream truck. Pinky, what is that thing? The pink pony just laughed merrily in reply. However, her midrid turned into a cry of despair as the truck took a sharp turn, just a few feet away from the entrance to the farm. Rainbow Dash jumped through the gate to the farm, running up the hill to the barn at the top of the property. She burst in through the front door, followed a second later by Pinkie Pie. Applejack turned in surprise, looking at the two ponies with question, and they began babbling incentively to her. Applejack, Rainbow, and I were playing Canyons and Clouds, and then I was running after Pinky because she said she was telling it, so I caught this ice cream truck and it took a wrong turn, and... Applejack silenced them both by shoving a hoof in each of their mouths. One at a time, you two. She cautiously removed her hoof from their mouth, allowing them to talk. At once, they pointed their forelegs at each other and accusing, She said no! In chorus. Yeah, I just spit all over my screen. That is disgusting. Sorry. Where am I? Oh. What did I tell you two about using them words? They're bad, and so, in punishment, I'm gonna make y'all buck trees for me today. The two ponies nodded in submission and shame, lowering their heads and following Applejack out of the door. She led them down the rows of apple trees to where they began, then gave them a pair of buckets. Now y'all gonna buck all these trees, y'all hear? Pinky and Rainbow nodded again, then prepared to start bucking the first of the trees. Feeling proud with herself for having straightened the two ponies out and have gotten some free labor out of it along the way, Applejack began to trot back up the hill. She was too proud to notice a large rock in her path. and promptly slammed one of her hooves into it. Yeah! Yow! She yelled, clutching her painful hoof against her. For the love of me! Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie gasped as they watched Applejack jump around, shouting in pain. Pinkie Pie began holding up her hooves one at a time, counting off the curses. 11, 12, 13, she whispered to Dash, holding 13 individual legs in front of her at once. I don't even know. The two stared open-mouthed at each other, then at the orange earth pony, then back to each other. Applejack! They said simultaneously. The cow pony stopped hopping around, looking at the two shocked ponies and realizing what she had said. We're telling Granny Smith! No, please don't tell Granny. Her old heart couldn't take it, Applejack pleaded, but the two ponies were already running, shouting Granny Smith's name as they charged up the hill. Wait! Stop! Cried Applejack, following them closely. The three ponies found the elderly pony outside, tending to the livestock of the Apple family farm. Granny Smith! Granny Smith! The old pony turned in surprise, greeting them with a smile. Why, hello! Applejack said, and wee, and the exclamations of Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie jumbled together, eventually becoming them just yelling curse words. After they finished, they, along with Applejack, looked at Granny Smith in anticipation. Oh, my old heart! Granny Smith then proceeded to faint and was caught by Applejack. The orange pony turned toward the other two. Look what y'all done! You should be ashamed of yourselves! Granny Smith looked up from her faint, giving Applejack a stern look. You should all be ashamed of yourself, and if you're gonna curse like working ponies, well, by golly, you're gonna work like working ponies. Yes, Granny, the three replied in sorrow. The old pony stood up and trotted over to fetch a few buckets of paint, setting them down in front of the group. Now paint the barn and make it look nice, Granny Smith commanded. After a few hours of the three ponies painting away and doing a good job of it, Granny Smith came outside, bringing a tray filled with glasses of apple juice with her. You girls have been working hard, so I brought you all some... She knocked one of her hooves against a stone, protruding from the ground. Granny Smith dropped... Oh, okay. Granny Smith dropped the apple juice, holding her hoof. Oh, boo! Applejack, Rainbow, and Pinkie Pie turned in surprise, looking at Granny Smith with their mouths agape. Granny returned their looks with one of the questions. What? That wasn't me. It was old Mare Derpy. She began. She pointed a foreleg at nearby Derpy, who had dropped all of her mail on the ground. Derpy looked at the goof and shrugged, smiling. Every pony burst into laughter. The end. Okay, that was hilarious. And, by the way, the reason I went boom is because it says a curse word right there, and I do not say curse words. I don't. It says the F word right there, and I do not say that. So, I just bleeped it out. So yeah, I'll put a link down to the story or a link to the story down in the description, and you can read it. It's actually quite hilarious. Especially where it said that what Granny Smith says right there at the end. Anyway. Yeah, so, I'll record another story and put it up, and then you can watch that. So, until then, I will see you guys later. Booney on!